Sorry about that. I am a couple of minutes late. I could not get my webcam to work. So little tech issue there, but I am here back again. I was on earlier at 1 sharing the announcement about the second half Spark School being opened. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I am going to show an interview that I did with Nancy Dubé. So if you remember video 5, Nancy was inauthentic Nancy when we met in my free training, in the same training that you all have been through back in January is when it wasn't the same training. Oh my gosh. It was a different, I had this training called 5 Secret Steps to, I can't even remember what it was now. It was 5 steps to passion, purpose, and profit, I think is what it was called. And so, and it was really a challenge format, not a live video or not a video series format like we did. So, hi, Sandra. So that's right. So she came in another type of challenge. So, but anyways, I interviewed her and she was nice enough to come in and do a live broadcast with me. And so I have that interview to share with you. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to play a video. It's about 35 minutes long. And I will be interacting in the comments. So if you have any questions, then let me know. And if you have any questions for Nancy, although she's not here, I can certainly get her to, I can follow up with her and get answers. I can even invite her in the group. Hey, Laura, she is back from her journey. I was going to reach out to you tonight because I was worried that you maybe fell off the mountain. So anyways, all right. So we're here. I'm here. You're here. Hopefully you're here. Oh, Sharon's here. She's been busy. You're here. Donna's here from Ottawa. So Nancy, just so you know, you Canadians, she is from Quebec. And so I'm going to set up the video real quickly. So Nancy her native language is not English. It's French. So she does an excellent job speaking English. And she's for me, she's very easy to understand. She thinks she has terrible English. I think she has fine English. And I frankly can't speak another language except for hola and adios, amigo. That's about my extent of my other language. So she does a very good job speaking English. She has a beautiful French accent. So, and I think that's all the setup I need, but we go into a lot more detail about her experience. Okay. So she shares a lot. She's super honest. So hopefully you like it. So I'm going to do something a little different. I did test this to see if it works, but this app I use, StreamYard, has a special feature where you get better quality if you share a video from your computer instead of like sharing a replay on my screen. So that's what I'm going to try. So we're going to do that now. Okay, hang on. Live now inside the Facebook group. So they just they see a little black screen for you and hear your voice. So yeah, Denise. One thing that I want to say, because I forgot to tell you this, is that Nancy had technical difficulties. We all have them, right? And then it's how we overcome them. So in this interview, she couldn't get her webcam to work. Kind of interesting that mine wasn't working in the beginning of trying to go live right now. So you'll hear audio, but you won't see her because we couldn't get it to work. So, all right, I think that's all you need to know. Here we go. Says beautiful accent. Okay, so let's talk about your experience because, you know, as you know, I used you as an example in the authenticity video. And you actually inspired me to create that video because I didn't really have that in my previous training. And it's such an important part of what, oops, she left. Where'd she go? Oh no. So the authenticity piece, even though I was teaching that in the Spark School, I really wasn't talking about it in my free trainings. And now I've become super passionate about making sure people understand what happens when they're not coming from a place of showing up as their real self. And so I guess where we should start is just to you share what you realized when we did I take my students through this personality typing workshop or session. It depends on when you come in, because I have a bonus that has this group. You can do this group thing where Alex does some training, and then there's these individual sessions. But the individual session that you got, Nancy, was really kind of eye-opening for you. And I think you thought, and you can correct me, because this is totally like what the truth is, right? What your experience was. But I just know that you really thought you were being authentic, but you mistook being like you were forcing some things that weren't natural to you to adapt to the environment you were in. So can you just share? Well, let's back up and share. You went through my workshop and you decided to join the Spark School. And so what was it that made you really go forward with digging deeper? What was that? Before we even get into the authenticity piece.
Well, as you said, I'm a psych nurse, so I work in psychiatry, and I've got a sixth sense to get people to know if they're telling the truth, if they're true people, or if they're fake. And when I saw you, I just clicked. I knew you were the real thing. I knew it in my body. I knew it in my soul. I knew it. So I said, I'm going to try. I'm going to check, because I listen to my inner voice, but I always double check. So I said, I'm going to spend a week. I'll try the workshop, and I'll see if the feeling stays or not. And after 1 week that was free, I couldn't get over how much you gave us already. So I said, if she gives that much for free, I gotta go see if I pay what I'm gonna get, because I wanted some change in my life, because I always try to be authentic and always try to look inside myself to listen. So it's not only my mind talking, but my heart talking. So the closest I was to being authentic was being a psych nurse for me, because I didn't see anything else, and I didn't know anything else was possible. But being on the floor and doing the job, I couldn't take care of the people. And as we did in one of your workshops, was to find the Spark type. And knowing that I'm an advisor and a nurturer in the hospital environment, I couldn't do that, because with the COVID, they wouldn't even give me 5 minutes with the patients. So I couldn't talk to them. So I wasn't happy there. And it was too rigid, because before COVID, I could talk with my patients and they'd feel so much better, and I'd see the spark get back in their eyes, and then bring back life into them. But then I couldn't do that, and I'm not the kind of nurse who wants to get a paycheck just to pop up pills in the mouth. So I'm not that kind of the person. I want to go work deeper in the souls and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so one thing that I wanted to touch on too is, and I should give you a little background, because yes, Nancy's a psych nurse, and she basically was in an environment, and it wasn't so much she wasn't doing what she was meant to do. She was doing what she was meant to do, but the environment in which she was trying to do it wasn't giving her what she needed, wasn't truly allowing her to fully help the patients. You know, there was a lot of rigidity around it. But Nancy is from Quebec, and so her first language is French. So English is her second language. But one of the things that I think is so interesting is what attracted you to me was that you saw my authenticity.
Yeah,
And what you, mm-hmm, and
yeah,
you really desired that for yourself. But I don't think, even though you were the real Nancy was in there, and you knew what you wanted to do, you couldn't do it. And so that was not allowing you to be authentic, and it was causing health problems, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I knew I was getting sicker and sicker, getting older. And since I had the course with you, I'm better and better every day.
Yeah.
So I must be on the right path now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And you took some scary action too. You immediately, well, first of all, when you kind of realized through this workshop that there was some misalignment happening in your life, it took a couple days to digest. I remember, because I remember following up with everybody, and you were like, I have to process this. It's going to take me a couple days to process it. I remember that. And I was worried, because I was like, it was like almost like this Mack truck. But that, your soul inside is just like dying to be free. That's like I said in the video, as a free bird, you need to be free, and you had in this environment that was so restraining. So
the other thing is that I became a nurse. I went back to school. I was 53 years old, and I worked really, really hard to become a nurse. And now I'm 59, and I succeeded. I got to be a nurse, and I was at the moment of my life that I'm almost 60, and I've got to start all over from zero and start. Oof, that was a lot. So I needed to process that,
Yeah.
So, but I always think when you're at the right place, doing the right thing, door open.
Yeah.
And when you're at the wrong place, the door closed. So in between the moment I started the work with you, things were going bad, real bad at work, and it was going worse and worse and worse. And so the door was shutting. I couldn't stay there anymore. So I decided to take sick leave and see where it was going to bring me, and take care of my health and take care of everything. And that was the right thing to do too. So and now the doors are opening, and stuff is moving all around me all the time. And it's another, I'm surfing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about, because I like to talk about how our experiences are usually our lessons that teach us how we need to serve, like, in our lives. So we wouldn't have had the life we had to teach us the things that we had if it wasn't supposed to be something we gained from it. Like, we had these lessons for a reason. And so sometimes people just like choose to think that they were a victim of these lessons, when in fact, like, look at what the blessings these lessons gave you. And so you came, and my heart hurts for the Nancy, the young Nancy, who was never really acknowledged and never allowed to be who Nancy really was. And so you have this dysfunctional background. And so I love that now you're using that to help people, because you can help people because you know how it is, and and it was to me when you said, you know what, everybody, so 95%, probably even more, love Christmas. and I hate Christmas, and I want to help the people who hate Christmas. So do you want to speak to that and how you kind of recognize that could be of help to people?
Well, it's like my family's got a lot of money. When my father died, he gave his millions and millions of dollars to his second wife, but he didn't give a penny to any of his kids. And that was the way he lived his life. And he was cruel. He didn't want his kids to succeed because he was a narcissistic man, and he didn't want us to succeed because it would make him look less if we were good and stuff like this. And my mother wasn't good either, and both were drinking a lot, making lots of money, but drinking and a violent environment, and it was really hard. So a lot of people that know me say that I'm a survivor, and that they thought I would suicide. I would commit suicide because it was too hard what I was going through. But I survived it. And for me, I say, like when I hear people say, you've got to work on your family because it's the most important thing you got in life. And I'm sorry, that's not true for me, because it's like they want me dead. The way they act, it's not for my mental health. I had to cut them loose and let them go, because it wasn't because I hated them. I hate them. It's because I decided to love myself, and that no one deserves to let people do stuff like this to them. So I just decided to move aside and say, well, you're gonna fight between one another, but I won't be the nail that you're gonna be the hammers and knock my head over with. So when I hear people that try to push me down the throat that family is so wonderful, yes, for most people on earth, but me, everything that sounds like family gatherings and stuff like that, uh, it makes me nauseous, because I had to be on my toes all the time. I never knew when my head would pop off my head because of a loose hand for no reason at all. It wasn't a safe environment.
Yeah.
So I know some people that came from dysfunctional family, and they all feel the same. They all feel they feel sick. Some people start using and abusing alcohol and drugs all the time around Christmas, because there's something with the family that was healed. So these people I want to take care of. When people feel disconnected and they feel like nobody can understand them, well, I've been there and I came out of it, and I live a happy life.
And I think you became a nurse because you wanted to understand more about, like, I think you realized at some point, this isn't right. I want to learn more about psychology, and that's why you became a psych nurse, I think. And it just
I studied in psychology years ago, and I worked with kids for over 20 years in schools, with kids that had behavioral problems or mental health problems. But I found out that there was a lot of them that didn't get the right treatment, because people didn't always see the difference between a behavior and a mental illness. So I wanted to study to be able to make the difference. So what I do, because now I'm starting my business as a coach, is that I do a free evaluation, so I can tell people, you go get professional help, because as a nurse, I cannot give you a diagnosis, but I can refer you, go to the hospital, go get that kind of help, for me, mental illness is not something you're supposed to be ashamed of. So I
Mhm.
make people feel comfortable with that and say, well, it's time to go get help, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh, but people that it's a behavioral or it's something because they come from a dysfunctional family, that I can walk with them through the process and give them some tools to feel better, different kind of tools, and it can take a long time or a short time, but I stand by them, and that's my own personal way of doing stuff, you know.
Yeah. So we have a question. We have a question. So I had typed ask questions if you want. So Denise is asking, what are you doing now to fill your soul?
Well, with the all the workshops I did with Lori, I found out that my true mission is to advise and nurture. So I decided to become a coach, a life coach. So the people that I want to help is the people that, people that hurt and want to feel better. Uh, you guys are with Lori, so you're in really good hands. But if you come from a dysfunctional family, maybe there's some stuff that you'd like to work on and go a little deeper or do it this different style, you know. So if you need that, I'll be there for you. But that's what I do. I live with my soulmate, so I'm one of the lucky ones on that part. For 11 years, I've been with that man, and it's great. After two broken marriage that were not good at all, but now it's the really my soulmate. So I've been blessed.
Yeah, and can you speak to the fact that, so many times we look to external sources and he's your soulmate. You've been with him for 11 years. So why wasn't he making you happy, Nancy? So what
You
did
know,
you learn about like how
it
like
kind of changed my life around because he was the first one who, at first, I didn't want him to meet my family, and he thought it was because I was ashamed of him. And I told him, I said, no, it's because I'm ashamed of them, because I'm afraid what you're going to think about me if you meet them, and you're going to think I'm like them because I'm not like them. And that's why they made me pay all my life because I wasn't like them.
yeah.
So he got to meet them after a while. And he was the first one to tell me that I was right, that
Mhm.
they were the problem. There was something that wasn't right with them. Their values were mixed up, and they were mean. And he saw it, and he felt it, and
Mhm.
so he says, "Do whatever you want. It's your family. I'll never tell you not to be with them." But
Mhm.
I said, now you know at least why I didn't want you to meet them, you know, because I
Yeah.
don't want you to think that about me. So, and we grew together through thick and thin, and he's always been supportive. But even though, I think, even though you've got millions and millions of dollars and with your soulmate and this and that, if you're not authentic and you don't find your true purpose and your true mission and you don't live by your real self, no one else can make you happy,
Mhm.
you know. So I
Yeah.
was the happiest I could be with what I had, and
Mhm.
I have that ability to make a lot of a little, you know.
Yeah.
So I felt happy, but like at work that wasn't working, and
Mhm.
he felt it too because when I started the workshop, he said, I don't know what that woman is doing, but continue, you know. And after a while he said, I'm so happy I found my Nancy back, because he felt I was drowning in all that
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
pain.
you said, yeah,
I wasn't happy at work. So he saw me change, and
yeah, and you said that you would come home and you just want to be alone because you were like so depleted of energy and
yeah, I was
yeah,
so tired all the time that I
yeah,
didn't even feel like talking to him, you know, and he would respect that because he would see it. He knows I'm not I don't play with his mind. I don't play with his heart. I'm not a manipulative kind of person. He knew that it was what I was living and that was hard for me, and he wanted to respect me the more he could. But after 2 months that I didn't feel like talking to him. I didn't feel like saying hello, how are you, and how was your day,
mhm,
how was your night, how was your no,
yeah,
no, I
yeah,
wasn't happy anymore. I was going. Well,
yeah,
it was like a burnout, but
mhm,
uh, jumping out of it with all the tools you gave me, and
mhm,
make me realize everything I had accomplished in my life. That was
mhm,
great
yeah,
because I always had to work on my self-esteem because my parents always told me I was a no good, and whatever I
mhm,
do, I never succeed, and I wasn't good enough, and I was never enough.
yeah,
But when I did that workshop with you, I realized, oh my God, I did so many things in my life. It's
yeah, yeah.
incredible.
And you have those voices that are saying, not good enough, then you don't see that. But the other thing that I love is by your just showing the example of you with your boyfriend is that, or your soulmate, is that like the work that we do on ourselves has this amazing ripple effect. And
Uh,
so we often think, I need to do this for myself. We empty our cup to fill other people's cup, but the depleted us isn't really helping, right? It's very short term band-aid stuff. But when we fill our cup, oh my gosh, we don't see that filling our cup is actually better to help other people. And the
yeah,
ripple effect is so great. So I love that. So another thing Denise said is that she said you worked so hard to become a nurse, and then it's almost like the career betrayed you. You took charge and changed your life. So what I would like to say is I think that Nancy was following her heart by becoming a nurse. It's just that it wasn't the right model. It's almost like she was listening. She said she listened to her heart, but at some point we forget that this is what happens, right? When we think this is the only option. This is my money. I have to make this money. I can't change. And so, yeah, so I love the fact that you were so brave to say this isn't working. And I know what you said to me when you came in is I spent the last money in my savings account is what you said to me. And Canadian money is is like more than
yeah,
the American dollar, but the investment you made, like, that's what it was. It was an investment. You didn't see it as, this is emptying my account, even though that was like what was true, right? For you. You saw it as I have no choice because this is my only alternative. So I love that. And I love that, so everybody lets fear drive them, and you just you stop letting it drive you. I don't know. Was that hard? Was that
of
hard to do?
course it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
With COVID, people, there's not that much work, and people are like, people would tell me, you're a nurse, so you won't be worried about money because you'll be working all the time, and that's what I was doing too, working all the time, but wasn't happy there. And
Mhm.
people would say, well, you're nuts because it's not time to start a business. It's time to be careful, and so it's not time to save all to spend all your savings, and I didn't have much because I'm still paying my loan from for school, and whatever. I had a hard life, and I am two divorced. It cost a lot of money too.
Yeah. Uh, yes.
So that's it, and like in Canadian money, it's like 1,000 more than
Hmm.
US
Yeah. Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of money for me, but
Yeah.
I had to invest on me because greatest tool. So if I don't take care of me and I'm not happy, it's not worth living. It's not worth moving forward. So,
Yeah.
so I decided to do that.
You're just a baby, right? Because aren't you just like 59?
Yeah, yeah. I still suck my thumb.
You're still in your 50s. Yeah. So,
Well, not for long. No, no, I'm turning 60 in March 25. So
yeah, yeah,
remember it,
yeah.
by the way.
Well, let me write it down. Let me write it down. Yeah. So, of course, they heard the story. So we got to talk about that, and we'll wrap up in a few minutes. But the story about your cyst. Well, you had two cysts. I only talked about one. The one at the
Yeah, I had one up in my neck. It was the size of a softball. It was my father had the same. It's called bison hump. Uh, uh, my father had it removed with surgery, and it came back. It grew back.
Yeah.
But when I had that tapping session after that, I called Alex to have another session with him.
Yeah.
And he made me do a visualization. Excuse me with my accent.
Yeah.
But we went into my subconscious, and he walked me through different steps, and after I was able like to forgive my father for a lot of things that he did. So I was able to let him go, and
Wow.
so the session finishes, and then I go to sleep, and I wake up in the morning, and I feel like my head is not the same position on my pillow. So I just like put my hand on my neck, and that's when I realized the bison hump was completely gone.
Yeah.
It had melted overnight, and like I couldn't. I told my boyfriend, and I just want to tell the world it was so incredible. And the one in my lower back, that took, I'd say, around maybe 4 days before it went slowly. But the one in my neck, the big one, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
that. If it wasn't me, I would say,
Yeah.
that's an hoax. There's something wrong there. I don't believe it. But because it was me, I had no choice to believe it. I'm the proof.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that if you had gone back to that job, it would have come back, right? Because that was your misalignment. Yeah.
Of course. And not only that, it would have been worse.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what would have happened, but I know, as a nurse, I know what was coming.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm working on getting my cortisol level lower every day. So I cut down coffee, and so I do a lot of stuff for that.
Yeah. So isn't it amazing though that nurses are always giving to themselves last? They're always like they're the last ones to take care of themselves, and that's just so.
We're not even on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
We give to everybody, but we're not even on the list. I had trouble to put some nail polish on my toes,
That's because you're so tall.
What? Yeah, but my knees bent. But
okay, so and then
I had that since last summer.
Yeah. Like I wanted to also talk about like the dream. So I want to like acknowledge the people who are emailing me because I love to get emails. And so I've had so many people reach out and say, thank you so much for the training. So thank you for those of you who are reaching out. Yeah. But Nancy was one of the ones who reached out to me during training. And she told me that I'm like, who is this woman? But she said, I had a dream about a blonde woman.
Oh, it was you in my dream.
Yeah.
I didn't like see your face, but it was your hair and it was your essence. So I knew it was you. And you were taking me by the hand and bringing me at different places because I've been searching all my life, you know. So she would bring me in a place where there was some kind of hippie people, and there was supposed to be Zen and this and that. But inside of me, I look at them and they were fake, and like you didn't want me to be there because they weren't the right kind of people for me. So you would take me somewhere else. So that's what I was telling you about.
So like our dreams are so powerful. Our soul sends us messages, and that was Nancy and wanting to be authentic and finding somebody who she knew, her soul knew, would lead her there. Like, and she paid attention to it. And so it's just so amazing as we look back and knowing now what the conversations we had in email, and then to watch the journey that unfolded for you and where you are now. You're just like such a shining light and so bright. And I so appreciate you. And I so appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, because I know it's going to inspire the people who are listening and thinking about their lives and what they need to change.
Well, thank you, dear. It's all because of you, with the help you give, the tool you give, your presence, your essence. You're it, girl. You're it.
I can't make a horse drink water, so I just can lead them to the pond, right? So,
but it was a nice pond, and the water was clear and fresh.
Yeah. So, anyways, any last words of advice or inspiration or anything that you'd like to leave with the people who've been through the training?
Well, invest in yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and listen to Lori.
Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
Yeah. Do your affirmation every day, because I found out that a lot of people that say, man, it doesn't work. A lot of times it's because they put that aside as if it wasn't so important. But the mind needs to hear them. I listen to them twice a day. So maybe it's the reason I go twice as fast. I know. But do it. Invest and do the work. Do the work. It works.
Yeah, and I just have one question for you. Do you feel that you are coming from a lit up place? Do you wake up in the morning? Like what's the difference between when you woke up in the morning before you went through the school and now?
Oh, well, that's easy, because I'd wake up in the morning and I used to want to sleep another 8 hours. I was always tired. No motivation to, and it wasn't because I didn't love my job, but it wasn't there anymore. But now I wake up usually, because I used to work evening shifts, so I would wake up around 10, 11 in the morning. Now I wake up sometimes at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm all excited to get up. And I used to hate waking up early in the morning, because I did it for like 25 years, and I didn't want that shift anymore. But now I want to come and check my Facebook group and my stuff and go forward. And so it's I'm smart.
Yeah,
I can hear it in my voice too. You know. It's I'm not sleeping anymore.
and it emanates, and it's so funny to watch. Like when we get on our coaching calls, just everybody, it's like this happy family, where in the beginning it was kind of like sitting at the table with these like straight faces. it's like a whole different new family, same people. But they're like, all
just watching the first videos where we were all on Zoom, and you watch it like 2 months after, It's like if it was different women.
Yeah.
You know, everybody changed. Everybody changed for the best.
Yeah. The people who did the work, right? The people who did the work.
Yeah.
So it's not going to like happen by osmosis or whatever. But anyways, all right. Well, we'll wrap up, and just those of you, if her story inspires you and you want what Nancy's drinking, then you gotta grab those bonuses today. Come on and get in the Spark School and join us and see how life can be so amazing. And today's Monday. I remember thinking this morning, oh my gosh, I love Mondays. I used to hate them so much. And at Sunday night, I would start dreading them. And I was just like, I'm so lucky, I feel like, to like wake up and be so excited about opening my computer and seeing who sent an email. So, all right. Okay. Thanks so much. And I'm glad you were able to get on, even though we really couldn't see your beautiful face.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for having me, dear.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was Nancy's inspirational story. So what part did you like best? I would love to hear what resonated with you most, because when something resonates, it's usually something coming from your gut or your heart, something below the neck. A friend called Donna today and said she could tell by my voice that something had changed in my life for the good. See? Energy, Donna. You've got better energy. Yes, that is so amazing. I'm so happy. Yes, my intention of this free training experience is coming true by that comment. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, I'm not going to keep you any longer. That was Nancy's story. I'm going to continue to bring you stories this week, and they're all inspirational. Everybody has a different path. I wanted to share Nancy's today because today is the day that the personality typing session bonus is available. And so if her story inspires you as it relates, I mean, she had a pretty incredible shift physically, a physical shift. All of my students who have been through typing sessions have really big mental shifts. But hers was mental and physical. And so hers is kind of an extreme example, but it just goes to show you that when you're living inauthentically, if you're pushing, if you're trying to pull, and this is what you'll learn when you do your personality typing, is that you have strengths and you have weaknesses in your innate personality. And Nancy was an example of pulling from her weaknesses versus her strengths. And her strengths, she was not pulling from. And so she was pushing, and to be somebody that she wasn't, being this, when you use your strengths, you're being authentic. When you're pulling from your weaknesses, you're trying to be somebody you aren't. So, and that's what she was doing. It was causing adrenal fatigue, and she was on the road to a train wreck physically. And so she corrected that before it happened. And Alex even told her, and Alex can tell when he can look at you and tell if you have physical issues, if you're having issues, if you have your cortisol is off and things like that. It's pretty crazy. All right. So if you go, Linda, to the secondhalfsparkschool.com, all spelled out, second half spark school, it's just like type it all together, no spaces. And second is all spelled out. If you go to Second Half Spark School, or you go to the email I sent you this morning, the links are in there, and you scroll down and you see the I think they're called early bird bonuses. I also, in the email I sent you, it's written up in there. Linda, did you get the email? So if you did not get an email from me this morning around 11 Eastern, I think it was around 11 Eastern. If you did not get that email, then yes, Sharon went through it. So yeah, Sharon did. Made a big difference in her life too. But go to admin@notyouraverage-grandma.com. Email me if you want information on the personality typing session and you can't find it, then email me at admin@notyouraverage-grandma.com, because I really want you to get it so you can see it and read it. Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.